How's it going, guys? Coda back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, this story, as you can see from the headline, is first inmate at a Scottish prison dies from COVID-19. Now, I was able to get this story out, but because one of my fine, amazing subscribers sent me a picture of a letter as proof that this prisoner had died that was handed to an inmate. So what I do whenever somebody sends me these things, I take them straight to the media. So that's what I did. I sent it to the Scotsman, I sent it to the Daily Record, etc., trying to get the story out there in Scotland. I'm going to read the story, guys. I'm going to do my bit at the end and stuff. It's COVID-19 related, obviously. I'm going to do the story, going to do my bit at the end. Link in the description below, like I always do. Headline reads: first inmate at Scottish prison dies from COVID-19. An inmate from Saunton Jail in Edinburgh has become the first prisoner in Scotland to die from COVID-19. John Angus, 66, died in hospital after being admitted to the Royal Infirmary on Tuesday. It was confirmed today. He was an inmate from Hermiston Block at HMP Edinburgh, on the western edge of the capital, and is thought to have suffered from underlying health conditions. Mr. Angus was placed on a lifelong restriction order after being convicted of the indecent assault of a 21-year-old woman in 2010 and breaching a ban which prohibited him from travelling without notifying the police. He had previously been given an 11-year jail term for tying up and gagging a primary school teacher in Easter Ross, and abducting a school cleaner at the same school at knife point in 1994. The Scottish Prison Service, or the SPS, said it did not comment on individual prisoners, but it said that 36 inmates across 8 jails were currently self-isolating after showing either symptoms or signs of COVID-19 or sharing a cell with someone that had. Human rights group have previously called for Justice Secretary Humza Yousaf to release inmates from Scottish prisons to reduce the risk of coronavirus quickly spreading. A letter sent last week to the Holroyd minister warned the impossibility of social distancing in prisons put both staff and inmates at an increased risk of infection. Mr. Yousaf previously told MSPs, or members of Scottish Parliament, that there were robust plans in place across the prison system to deal with the pandemic, with any prisoner who displays symptoms told to self-isolate. A Scottish Governor spokeswoman said, "Our priority and that of the Scottish Prison Service will always be the health and well-being of every person living and working in Scotland's prisons, including inmates and the prison officers and healthcare workers who care for them. Clearly, the loss of any life in prison is regrettable, and thoughts are with those affected by this death. As with any death of a prisoner, the matter will be reported to the Procurator Physical, and a fatal accident inquiry will be held in due course." Now, so he was a sex offender, guys, right? So the thing is, though, because like I said, my heart, my thoughts, and my prayers go out to this prisoner's family. They've not done anything wrong. John Angus's friends and family, they've done nothing wrong, guys. So God bless those. May those rest, God bless those people. And yeah, just God bless those people, because they're going to be going through, they've obviously suffered a bereavement and stuff like that. Me, as somebody that was abused when I was younger, I detest sex offenders. It's just how it is, guys. And people say, "Oh, Cody, you can't talk like that. You're a voice for prisoners." I'm not really I'm a voice for prisoners in a small part. I'm not politically correct. I'm not polished, nor do I want to be. And I will not shy away from my opinions on sex offenders because I despise them. It's as simple as that. But like I said, my thoughts and prayers go out to the prisoners' friends and family at this sad and tragic time. They've done nothing wrong. Like I said, guys, I was able to get this story out. Again, I'm only able to get the story out because of you fine people that watch this channel that think, you know what, this kid, this guy, me, this dickhead, right, this big 6'4" ginger yeti, right, is actually trying to help prisoners. and they're listening to what I'm saying as well, because the thing is, at the moment, the Ministry of Justice have said, we will not be confirming anything reference COVID-19. Have you noticed with a death, right? Because the fact that we've sent the proof, right? And then the media go to the prison really can't deny it. So they've been like, right, well, yeah, a prisoner's died. He had underlying health problems. No, he had COVID-19. It was confirmed, right? So don't start talking bollocks. This is the thing, guys. What we're being told and what the truth is two very different versions of events. Now, the amount of people that have caught, since I've been up my game and started doing all these videos about COVID-19 and stuff, like I said, I'm not an expert on COVID-19, but I know the damage it's going to do to the prison population. And I'm extremely passionate, and I continue to be extremely passionate, and I don't get paid a penny, guys, remember this. It's my time, and I'm, like I said, away from YouTube. What you don't see is me corresponding with journalists and trying to get stories out, and prisoners reaching out to me, and prisoners' friends and family reaching out to me, desperate, worried, shit scared of this virus, and rightly so as well, rightly so. And then you've got the Ministry of Justice, who are trying to cover up what's really going on within prisons. Like I said, I was told from several journalists, the MOJ code it have said the following: we will not be confirming anything COVID-19 related, as it would cause panic and unrest in our prisons. What do you think unrest means, guys? Riots and violence, guys, because prisoners will start to panic and think, hang on, what's going on? Trust me, guys. Like I said, the thing is, if anyone is watching this and you've got a loved one in prison and things are not going right and they're not getting healthcare and they're not being given personal protective equipment, and we know this is happening, and that like prison healthcare has been more or less taken out of the prison so they can help the NHS and stuff, right? Prisoners don't matter, guys. No one cares if a prisoner dies. The only person that cares if a prisoner dies is their friends and their family. The only time people want to talk about injustice, for the most part, is when it happens to them. Right, and like I've said, guys, prisoners are sitting ducks with this virus. It's extreme. It's highly contagious. Like I said, these prisons are all dilapidated, run down, Victorian prisons. Not all of them. We have got some new builds and stuff, but prisons are dirty places. And healthcare is shocking. And prisons are like incubators for viruses and infections. Many prisons have had problems with vermin, rats and mice and pigeons, etc. Cockroaches, things like that, insects and everything. It's a very worrying time for prisoners and their friends and their family. And like I said, guys, if you don't, like I said, you don't have to believe what I'm saying, guys. Just speak to people that have got someone in prison. I know what's going on within jail. People like Cody, you're trying to scaremonger. 12 prisoners are dead. One at Leicester as well, which I'm going to cover in a minute. Right? 12 prisoners are dead that we know of. I need to repeat that we know of. If the truth, right, guys, we've had nearly, 8,000, 9,000 deaths now in England. But you're led to believe, and we're led to believe, that only 12 of the people that have died out of the 9,000, right, we're led to believe that only 12 prisoners have died. And 3 officers, 2 from Pentonville, Bovell Peters and Patrick Beckford, and also an officer at Wymont died as well, which is up near, it's right next to Garth Prison up in Preston. Ulness Water or something it's called, the area. So out of 9,000 people, or 8,000, 9,000 people, guys, we're led to believe, and we're being force-fed, that only 12 of them are prisoners. Out of 9,000. Knowing that family visits continued, social visits were continuing, social visits and family visits, same thing. Legal visits continued. People were still being sent to prison. Prisoners were still getting shipped to different prisons and stuff, and like put on the ghost train and moved from prison to prison, going through dispersals, right? And like I said, they only stopped last month, guys. We stopped weeks behind Italy and Spain, bro, right, when they locked down. Yeah. Now look at the situation we are in. It's not even peaked. It's not even peaked. We've had a higher increase than Spain and Italy yesterday, in one day. Nearly 1,000 people dead, right? But again, we're force-fed to believe that out of the 9,000 people, 9,000 people, only 12 of them are in prison. knowing that what prison healthcare is. Looking at the ages of these guys, right? 84-year-old sex offender was the first to die at Little A, right? There was a 66-year-old man from Strangeways died. This guy was 66 years old as well. There was a 46-year-old female offender, a nonce sex offender at Low Newton, right? She died. They're in that age. A 56-year-old man died as well. And so the ages, and like I say, 77, 84 and stuff like that, these are not lottery numbers, guys. These are ages of prisoners that are dying in the system. And like I said, this guy here, this John Angus at Saunton Prison, and like I said, no one's going to shed a tear for a sex offender, and I'm completely in that same mindset. It's the friends and family that I feel sorry for. They're not guilty of anything. It's just a sad state of affairs, guys. But the thing is, again, we're being force-fed. These prison Twitter accounts, guys, right? They keep pushing the same propaganda. They put pictures. A resident, right? A resident is what they call a prisoner when they're like, that's supposed to give the prisoner that a sense he's got a stake in society. Absolute bollocks, right? And they're like, oh, look, today a prisoner drew this, and it shows the staff and the prisoners all getting on and everything's hunky-dory. There's no proof that a prisoner fucking drew that, right? And they're trying to like project that everything's fine, hunky-dory in the prison. Then you get other prisons. We've had no confirmed cases of coronavirus. And people are like, oh, well done, well done. Well, you're not going to have prisoners testing positive with coronavirus if you're not testing them. But it's see, this is the thing. Read between the lines. Guys, I'm deadly serious with this, right? You might think I'm going over the top. We are at war with the Ministry of Justice right now. And I don't mean a physical war. Right? I don't mean that, right? I mean we're in a war in the sense that prisoners are dying at an alarming rate in prisons, right? And the Ministry of Justice are trying to cover it up. So we're in war. We're at war in the sense of prisoners and prisoners' families. Prison officers have got the Prison Governors Association, the Prison Officers Association, who are speaking up for prisoner governors and prison officers. And then you've got people like the Howard League for Penal Reform, Prison Education Trust, Prison Reform Trust, all these sorts of people that are trying to do their thing for prisoners. But they're academics. I'm screaming from the rooftops, guys, yeah? I'm trying to get deaths out. Remember one thing. I've been getting deaths out for the last few years on and off in between prison sentences. This is what I'm about. So people are now waking up and thinking, hang on, like, yeah, like, fucking hell. You go through my timeline. There was a call from a prisoner at Dovegate. He was on the phone to his missus talking about mistreatment and human rights being breached, right? It was about 30 seconds into the call, and because he was slagging the prison off, they cut the prison cut the phone dead because he was listening in. Because they don't want stories getting out. So people contact me, Cody, this is happening in a prison. And that's fantastic. I'm glad that people reach out. I love it. I love it. And more people are doing it as well, which I'm very grateful for. The one thing we need is proof, right? If your loved one rings you from prison, right, or sends you a video in his cell talking about this coronavirus, I can blur his face and stuff. It's not an issue. I've done it with other prisoners or former prisoners. I've looked down my timeline. If your prisoner's got a mobile phone within prison, right, obviously they're banned and stuff, right, but they're everywhere. So if you can get a picture of a letter, like from the top to the bottom, and send me a picture of it, a clear picture of it, I will go straight to the media, or you can take it to the media. Like I said, when I send him to the media, my name doesn't go into the article. I'm not interested in none of that bullshit. All it is for me, I'm trying to get the story out. I've got this story out. I've got a story out about social officers at H&P Berwyn not practicing social distancing. I got that into the media. That went out on the BBC, ITV Wales, went out on a Welsh-speaking programme. It gone out in the Daily Post or the North Wales Live in North Wales. Right, I got a death out about Breaky, who died, Martin Brake, known as Breaky, who died at H&P Leeds, or Armley Prison, as it's known locally to Leeds. I've got out this story here. What else have I got out? I'm trying my best, guys. I'm really, really trying my best to help prisoners and stuff. And by what we're doing, right, I know it sounds silly, right? Like I said, by picking away and keeping prisons in the spotlight, it keeps the pressure on the Ministry of Justice to release prisoners. Public Health England and Her Majesty's Prison and Probation Service have both recommended that 15,000 prisoners should be released. They're not doing that. They're not going to be releasing no 15,000 prisoners. They'll wait till it's too late. They'll wait till there's riots. Look at America, riots. Colombia, riots. Italy, riots. Scotland, Addiewell, there was a riot a few weeks ago. Right? What do you think is going to happen to the UK prison system? The prison system with the highest incarceration rate in Western Europe. Prisoners being locked behind the door 20 to 23 and a half hours a day. Having to beg for toilet roll, having to beg to get on the phone if you haven't got an in-cell telephone, having to beg for soap and things like that, right? Begging to get out for exercise. They're in cells, guys. They're in small, cramped, overcrowded cells meant for one person. You've got 2 and 3 men. Elmley, there's 3 in a fucking cell, right? Sharing that space, right? There was a story about... I can't remember what the prison was, but they was having to urinate and defecate in a bucket because apparently they've got no in-cell sanitation. This is what's going on, guys. This isn't a Dickensian novel I'm reading to you. This is 2020, guys. British prison system. And a lot needs to change, guys. And like I've said, but tempers are boiling over, guys. And like I said, you're in a cell, you're in an overcrowded cell, thick glass or thick perplex things, and the bars, it magnifies the heat. Your cell becomes essentially an oven. Do you know what they're doing, guys? Rather than release 15,000 prisoners, do you know what they're doing? Right, at several prisons, they're going to be putting steel porta cabins, yes, you heard right, steel porta cabins, to create 500 prison spaces so that prisoners can be more spread out. Now, these containers are obviously going to have to go within the prison, within the prison buildings, like obviously outside, but inside the prison, right? Look at the heat, look at the temperature, guys, out there right now. Well, not right now because it's late, but in the daytime, it's getting hotter and hotter, isn't it? Right? What happens if you put a dog in a car with, you've got glass that's magnifying the heat, you've got steel? What happens to that car? It becomes an oven. And now we're going to put prisoners in these. Apparently, it's going to be low category prisoners that are going to be risk assessed, and then they're going to put them into these porta cabins, steel porta cabins, which will conduct heat, and that will become an oven. And then they're going to have to put in-cell sanitation and stuff like that, because the prisoner needs clean drinking water, because like I said, he could dehydrate and stuff like that. If you leave a dog in a car, it dehydrates, could die. People break the window and they don't get thingy because it's a dog and it's a life, and you just don't do that. So if we don't treat dogs like that, why are we treating prisoners like that? Like I said, yes, we've made mistakes. Yes, we've broken the law. Not everyone in prison is guilty. You've got miscarriages of justice. You've got people on remand who will be found innocent down the line, right? The facts are, guys, what's going on within prisons, you've got a system trying to cover up what's really going on. We keep getting fed these 147 prisoners have tested positive. So you're telling me out of the hundreds of thousands of people, whatever, is 100 plus thousand people that have been tested positive, right? And 9,000 have died, right? That there's only 147 prisoners that have tested positive. Just use your brain, honestly. Look at what's going on in the country. Look at healthcare. Your health deteriorates worse in prison than it does on the out. Look at prison healthcare. 15% of prisoners have got respiratory problems. So things like COPD, asthma, things like that, right? Prison healthcare being what it is, underlying health problems. 1,700 plus inmates are over the age of 70 and above. And they're all in the at-risk category, guys. This virus, guys, is not discriminating. It's wiping everyone out, right? And like I said, the young people have died. A 5-year-old girl died, God bless her, right? 21-year-old died, old have died. People are dropping, guys. This is taking no prisoners, no pun intended. But like I said, if you honestly believe that only 12 prisoners have died through this COVID-19 thing, right, out of the 9,000 that have died, only 12 are prisoners. No, open your eyes, please. Like I said, this case here with John Angus is the first case that we know of a death in Scottish prisons. The only reason we was able to get this story out is because some fucking switched on individual got me the proof, sent me the proof and said, ER code there. I was like, brother, thank you. I don't even know the guy, but I don't even know if it was a guy or a girl. But I was like, yes, man, appreciate it. and then I do my thing. And like I said, I'm not doing it for applause. I don't need applause. I'm not about that. I'm about prisoners. I'm nobody. I'm just trying to use my platform to fucking help people. Yeah, man. But I need people. If you're in the current climate, right? Well, not even in the current climate, with the Ministry of Justice, if you've got undeniable proof that you've got solid 100% evidence, the prison are forced to admit shit. Like I said here, they've admitted it. They've said, yeah, a guy's dead. But they said, oh, yeah, he had underlying health problems. Trying to steer away from the fact it was COVID-19 related. But the reason that it mentions COVID-19 related is because when the prisoner, when the person, I don't know if it's a prisoner or not, but when they sent me the letter from the prison, it stated COVID-19, the guy had underlying health problems, he was taken to hospital, but he had confirmed corona case and he died. The reason that story went out and it says COVID-19 in the title is because of the evidence that was supplied to me. Otherwise, it would just be, yeah, there's been a death in custody. And you wouldn't know either way. You'd be like, well, was it natural causes? Was it suicide? Was it medical negligence? Was it COVID-19? They're trying to cover shit up. I can't stress it enough. I'm sick of saying it. I swear to God, I cannot stress enough what is going on within prisons. And it's driving me insane, right? And people are like, well, Cody, you're being like... And it's like they want me to wrap things in cotton wool. People are fucking dying at an alarming rate. I can't wrap it in cotton wool for you guys. There's certain people that are like criticising me because I'm so outspoken and I just say it how it is. Do you want me to say, oh, well, there's this little virus and it attacks your respiratory things in your lungs and you die? There's no way to death. How do you fucking sugarcoat death? How do you do that? Somebody tell me. It's unbelievable, guys. Like I said, people need to switch on, open their eyes before it's too late. But like I said, we are at war with the Ministry of Justice in the sense of we need to get evidence to back up our claims, which we know what's going on. Prisoners have got no reason to lie. I'm speaking to prisoners. You guys might be interacting with prisoners or have a loved one behind bars. We need to do what we need to do, but we need to come together, right? I'm not talking protests and stuff like that. I'm talking let's get facts and evidence to back up what we're saying. Pictures, videos, pictures of letters, leaflets, anything we can get. Let's do it. Let's do it for prisoners, because if we don't, they're going to die and ain't no one going to know fuck all about it. It's down to dickheads like me and some great, fantastic people on here that actually see what I'm trying to do and think, you know what? I'm going to help that guy. And like I said, you're not helping. It's helping me trying to get, but you're trying to help me, trying to help prisoners. And I appreciate all those great people that I've interacted with and stuff that are sending me stories. But like I said, proof. Everything needs to be backed up by proof. Sky News are still waiting to do something, right? I was contacted today. I had a good hour and a half conversation with a freelance journalist who works with Sky, who is trying to put a piece together, but it needs to be hard hitting. Look at the prison riot in America. That's what we're talking. I'm not asking prisoners to riot, but what I'm saying, that was hard hitting footage that's become news. This is what we need in the UK prison system. And the fact is, and I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Cody, I don't want to do it, because what's happening, guys, the prisons are using this lockdown to spin cells left, right and centre, yeah, right? They're using it, right? The social distancing and stuff in confined space, and then they go with security going in and raiding and turning people's pads over. But like I said, I can blur people's faces. And some kids, the kid in America that was like, he filmed himself and stuff, he took one for the team, and he was saying, listen, I don't give a fuck what happens to me, but listen, boys are dying here, my guy can't even breathe, right? And that's what's coming down to, guys. Like I said, I don't want anybody getting busted in prison, yeah, man, especially not with a phone. But in the current climate, are they really going to get that many extra days for having a mobile phone? But like I said, guys, and if you're going to get caught with a phone, make sure you get the evidence out, do you know what I'm saying? Right, guys, I'm going to waffle on. So link in the description below. Let me know what you think about the video. I'm sorry for the rants and stuff. I'm extremely passionate about this. People are dying. Prisoners are dying. Like I said, not interested in sex offenders. And people who criticise, I couldn't even care if that stops me doing interviews. I don't care. I don't like sex offenders. Sue me. Right, guys, leave it there. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.